Hey everybody, it's Kelly with the Garden Whisperer. If you're unfamiliar with what I do, I design flower beds and garden beds for homeowners where they can either install it themselves or they can hire a landscaper to install it for them according to the design plan. So today is the ground cover contest. Now it's between this, which is Lamium Dead Nettle, or Ajuga. I'm going to go over this one first. The great thing is both Lamium and Ajuga are highly deer resistant, but Lamium blooms profusely from spring all the way until frost, depending on the cultivar of Lamium that you buy. So just check the label. It gets very little diseases. I'm not going to say it doesn't get like somewhat a little bit, but I don't know what that is. I got to look that up. But as you can see, the blooms, they're just so pretty. The foliage is beautiful. It grows really fast. It's highly pest resistant, including, like I said, the stupid deer. Not a lot of bugs eat it. You may get like here, you got one little hole there. And it's highly, like I said, does just fine, you know, in moisture, and the bugs just leave it alone out here, so it's great. And like I said, there's no real major funguses on it or diseases that it gets, so it's a really awesome ground cover plant. What else did I want to say? It does well in sun and shade in the Northeast, but if you're out west, I would suggest putting it in shade or part shade if you have it, because the sun could scorch it. So this is a really awesome ground cover, and when it does its first bloom in the spring, you just cut it back and it'll just rebloom again like this one did. And if it starts to look a little shabby and just kind of floppy or something, it just looks like weird, or sometimes it'll get like a little hole in the middle, just cut some of it back and it'll just regrow right in the middle. I mean, I don't really do anything much with these. I just kind of ignore them and they just do their thing. So I actually only bought one of them from Lowe's. And I just took cuttings from I think this one was the one I took the cuttings from. But as you can see, and I just take, as long as it has roots, and I just stick it right in the ground and it just regrows itself. And this is what I did. That one could probably be cut back a little bit. But that's what I did with this one, because that's why it's smaller. But this took no time flat to reroot itself and to grow. And you could see it's already got some blooms. So, and it's growing in through there. So it's just a really awesome ground cover. All right, and then the other one that's really great is the Ajuga. And this one is called Silver Beauty. And as you can see why, it has beautiful silver variegated foliage. It produces really pretty periwinkle flowers in the spring, but that's the only time it blooms is in the spring. And then you just have the foliage, which is fine because it's still really pretty. Highly deer resistant, although same with the Lamium, they do nibble a little bit. Especially this year, the deer are pretty psycho. There's like issues with the overpopulation, and Pennsylvania Game Commission is now increasing their licenses by 11%, and they're also increasing how many Sundays they're allowed to hunt for the 2025-26 season. So there has definitely been an increase, and I've been having problems with plants that the deer normally do not touch, including Ajuga, and they have nibbled on it. So I've had like 3 young bucks coming in my flower beds this year, and they just won't stop. They're driving me crazy. But anyway, and then so they're both highly deer resistant. I think the Lamium is probably even a little more deer resistant than the Ajuga. And the other issue with Ajuga is it does get what's called shot hole fungus. And you can get a copper fungicide or fungicide. I can never say these things right. They sell it at Lowe's. I think it's like copper sulfate or something, but it should say copper right on the front of the bottle. And it's due to overhead watering, which I don't water these, so this is all from the rain. I'm not going to bother spraying them this year because we're in September and everything's going to be dying back soon. And maybe I'll just do it in the spring. I'll spray the spray, but basically they do get that disease or fungus, and they only bloom in the spring, but they are highly deer resistant. Now, they will do fine in, same thing, sun or shade in the Northeast, but if you're in the West, put them in shade or part shade because they could get scorched by excessive sun. So that is it, but I think actually between the two, I'm going to say the Lamium is the winner, because of the fact that it has very little diseases and pest. It's got high pest resistance, and it blooms for months on end. So that's the only difference between the two that I'm going to say is why Lamium is the winner. Because they're both really pretty when they bloom and their foliage is gorgeous. It's just like I said, the pest resistance and the bloom time. So that is it. So Lamium is the winner, guys, between the ground cover deer resistant competition. So that is it for today's video. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. And if you're interested in hiring my design services, you can reach me at www.the-garden-whisper.com. Till next time, guys, happy gardening. Talk to you soon. Bye.